Powerful currents of water, carrying jagged rocks and debris, surged down from the mountains, crashing through the narrow valleys before reaching the small, peaceful village, where terrified villagers scrambled to find safety from the unstoppable force of nature. A massive wall of water surged forward like an unstoppable force, breaking through barriers and sweeping away everything in its path as panicked people tried to escape the relentless attack of the rising floodwaters. The relentless floodwaters, swollen by days of heavy rain, surged through the valleys and plains, gradually rising higher until they completely submerged the villages, leaving only rooftops and treetops visible above the murky, swirling currents. Even the most skilled surfers, despite their expertise and agility, find themselves powerless against the towering waves that rise menacingly from the depths of the ocean, crashing down with immense force and swallowing them in an instant, leaving nothing but foaming waters in their wake. Devastating landslides struck small villages, causing massive trees to topple and crushing homes under the relentless force of cascading earth, while torrents of water and thick mud surged through the streets, submerging everything in their path. The rushing stream, swollen by heavy rains, carried along with it a chaotic mix of soil, jagged rocks, discarded trash, and broken tree debris, sweeping everything downstream before surging into the village, where it spread destruction and disorder in its wake. With a thunderous roar, the cliff suddenly gave way, erupting into a massive explosion of rock and earth, sending debris flying in all directions, crashing down onto the valley below, and leaving behind a thick cloud of dust that darkened the sky. Under the sheer force of the powerful storm, houses were torn from their foundations, lifted into the air like fragile paper, and hurled away before crashing down in a devastating collapse, leaving behind only shattered remains and scattered debris. The raging floodwaters showed no mercy as they surged through the land, sweeping away everything in their path: houses, trees, and belongings, leaving behind only devastation and an eerie emptiness in their wake. The torrential rain that lasted for many days caused the floodwater level to rise rapidly, submerging a large area in a vast sea of water. The raging, fast-flowing water carried mud, trees, and rubbish, sweeping through every street and village. Even the sturdy houses could not withstand the ferocious power of nature. Each house was swept away by the water, swaying and then breaking apart in the raging flood, leaving behind a scene of devastation and destruction. The flood came quickly. The water rose steadily, submerging roads, fields, and gardens, sweeping away everything in its path. In just a moment, the water had entered every house, overflowing the steps, rising up to the windows, and soon reaching the roofs. People panicked and climbed to higher places, clinging to corrugated iron roofs and rafters, hoping to find safety in their despair. All around, there were only lonely roofs bobbing up and down in the vast sea of water, reflecting the gloomy gray sky. Not only humans, but also animals must struggle to survive as the raging storm sweeps through, forcing them to seek shelter, cling to tree branches, or desperately navigate the rising floodwaters in search of safety. The fierce and relentless wind howled through the land, uprooting massive trees and sending them crashing down onto the roads, blocking pathways, destroying vehicles, and leaving behind a scene of chaos and devastation. The powerful landslide, carrying tons of earth and rock, roared down the hillside with unstoppable force, crashing into the sturdy wall and reducing it to a pile of rubble in mere moments. The rescue vehicle battles against the strong currents, carefully navigating through the rising floodwaters to reach those stranded, determined to bring them safely to shore despite the relentless force of the rushing water. Torrents of water came rushing into the house, seeping through doors and windows, flooding every room in its path, and turning the once safe home into a chaotic scene of floating furniture and rising desperation. Stranded on the rooftop as floodwaters rage around them, people desperately search for a way to escape, clinging to hope while the rising currents threaten to engulf everything in their path. Thank you for taking the time to watch and be a part of this experience.